um, how energy in fact affects the environment. I described marshes, trees, the bending of them, compression of water, lakes, oceans, rivers. Fires will generate, besides heat, other electromagnetic phenomenon. The sun. All of those are elements in Feng Shui, and if you have an environment that has a particular geography, it will have a tendency to have a type of energy, and that's why they worry about what type of energy comes into the house. So that's an empirical process. A lot of it's common sense. You don't want to have your front door aiming down at the end of a street, a convergence of streets, because that's just like a car running into it, horse and carriage, a thief running down the street, and the first house it tries, instead of being able to make a left or right, goes straight into the house in front of them to kind of dive off the back streets. Those are common sense things of Feng Shui, but Feng Shui also has this things like you want to have the north side to have the back of your house to protect it from north cold winds or trees. That will help conserve heat. You don't want cold air coming in from the plains and tearing through your house, through every nook and cranny that you have. That's why it's like, well, it's good luck to have, a mountain behind you, and sometimes also having a stream coming from the north towards the south. It helps bring cooler energy or coolness during the summer months. If you don't, that's just an example. People stumbling upon other realities sometimes kind of impinge on it. You don't have to do anything; they're there. A lot of it has natural phenomenon. Some of it's influenced by people, some of it's influenced by nature. It's not common, and most people do not live in those spots, but those things happen. Is there anything that can you block it out? Sure. Can you be aware that those things happen? Sure. But then you start lapsing to the concepts of paranormal. But when we start talking about other energies and things that come in from people, and what type of natural energy or natural magic, we start talking about things like formularies. I have one book. It's a basic. I could have bought hundreds of them. They're like basically recipe books, and for spells. You mix all this stuff together and you put it underneath somebody's front doorstep, or it's a incense, or it's a perfume, or a bath water, or what have you. Well, a lot of it's herbs. It creates an effect, a physiological effect. The other thing is it's how you interact with the spiritual presence of the world around you, the natural flow of spiritual reality. And what people don't realize that you're born into it. Culture and people all exhibit the same type of energy that nature does, and it starts building an effect over and over again. So formularies, they may use like second wave Celtic generation witches who talk about how to talk out fire. Well, some of it's an energetic, magical thing, but other things are like, a tornado comes around, you say a passage of the Bible, and you take a knife out of your kitchen and you stab the earth with iron, and directly to prevent that tornado from taking out your house. That is a folk way. Does it work? Sure. Why would they do it if they didn't think it was going to work? Sometimes it don't work. Well, But when people have done these things, sometimes it does. Now the question is, why does it work for some and not for some others? What's their personality? What is the energetic nature of where they're at? How many people share the same beliefs, viewpoints? When you have the same beliefs and the same viewpoints, everybody's emotional in the same way, the same pattern, and they act and react in the same way, and it builds an energetic flow. Unless you're psychically sensitive to it, you're not going to pay attention to it. I know a lot of psychics who develop their skill reading this flow and think they know everything about it. They step out of that society, they can't read anybody else. It's because the people are different, the environment's different, the energy's different. But the folkways of a given place are formularies. In other words, light this candle, say 3 Hail Marys, or say this rhyme, make a poultice of this, and set your cats outdoors, or this, that, or the other thing. A lot of it is the things that they're using the formularies also affect their own emotions, their own symbology, how they feel about it. Because culturally, it's like, if you're playing with a bat, most people don't like bats. You stick it in a stew, you're going to be revulsed. Okay? If you're going to stick passion fruit or an apple, apple's nice, and it's always about man and women and this and that. You got already this whole lovey-dovey feeling, and you're putting it in a love spell. Well, it's evoking from you, just for playing with these things that have meaning to you and how you are taught to feel about these things. It gets impressed upon the tool, whatever it is, whether it's writing a poem and burning it in a fire because it's a setting a concept and letting it release it. That's magic, but you take it for granted because it's a pattern that works. And there are a lot of formularies that are written, even a lot of alchemical, high ceremonial magic type of stuff, going and having a big long-winded poem of God about this corner and that corner and that corner. Were these people magical in the process? Not necessarily. They're acting out of faith, out of their own belief. That doesn't make it magical in the sense that you develop a skill to interact with the world around you. You are doing something because it's a ritual that creates a pattern that you're relating to. And that pattern relates back to you.